Yo, what's up, guys? This is NorbCam coming at you, another live video. Got my buddy here, Ben. Also,
what's up?
Also, season ticket holder, Hawks fan, Filipino power, baby.
That's right, baby. Pinoys for the Seahawks.
That's right. Anyway, we're on our way down to our weekly volleyball game, but we thought, hey, you know, this whole thing about Colin Kaepernick, the debate about him being the backup QB to Wilson is just kind of taken fire ever since yesterday morning. What's up, guys? We're driving here, so I can't really read the comments. So Ben, you might have to chime in on a few.
People are debating whether
already people are jumping on.
They're already saying Cap is trash, beast mode, Raiders. How many you doing, Norb?
What's up, Joey?
So I think everybody's talking about their opinion.
I think from everything I gather, most Seahawks fans are pretty much like, you know, don't do it, keep them away from here. But let's really dissect this issue, because if you start to take away the emotional part of the fact that Colin Kaepernick was one of the most hated opponents we had, not because he was a bad guy per se, but because he was like the Darth Vader of the evil empire back when we were at the tops of the division battling for NFC championships. So he's fallen quite far since, but now it's kind of become, is it less about him as a rival, and now all of his politics coming into the whole thing. So what do you think, man? What's your gut feel about the idea of Kaepernick coming to the Seahawks and being a backup to Wilson?
You know, I think what you said earlier about how people didn't like him was because he was at the height of his career. I mean, we were like head to head with San Francisco. It was a heated rivalry. It meant everything to beat Cap and the 49ers. Right now, I honestly feel I see him as an underdog. So coming in as an underdog, he's got something to prove. I think he's a perfect fit for the Seahawks.
Oh, so you like the idea?
I like the idea. I don't like him personally, but I respect that he's got his own opinion. But I think it's gonna bring out that whole competition piece, because he thrives in that, and I think he just wants a chance. And you know, we're the team of constant underdogs, and so I think that attitude is gonna come into play. I still believe he'll be the backup without a doubt. But
so you're pretty sure you feel like it's gonna happen?
I mean, I think it makes sense when you see Coach Pete say it would make sense. That to say that publicly, I think, is legit. So.
A lot of players have been weighing in today. Michael Bennett, Richard Sherman of all people, who probably epitomized the most, kind of spewed and represented the most. Well, he had a hatred for Crabtree, but he was sort of like the nemesis. Led to the downfall of Kaepernick, because he was always the guy who shut him down every time he tried to throw his way. But even Sherman expressed the idea that he would be a good fit for the Seahawks. So, I think if you have to look at, I think, the raw. Let's talk about his skill set, because for a while there he was one of the top threats in the game when he first came out. The year they went to the Super Bowl and lost, I remember when he was just turning it out. They had no solution for how to stop Kaepernick. But then once the read option kind of got shut down and he had to evolve to that next step like Wilson had to, Wilson showed that he could be a pocket passer, and that's where Kaepernick struggled. So, but however, you look at the stats, I think you were just pulling them up a little bit ago. In 2015, he had a pretty bad season. Then look at 2016 last year. He actually had a pretty decent performance as a quarterback. Was it 16 touchdowns, 4 picks?
Yeah, he had 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he was near the high quarterback rating of 90, and so that matches maybe 4 years ago when he had 91, and then 98 was his highest. So I believe he can still be very productive. I just don't think he had just like Russell, he didn't have the line to really support him. He didn't have the supporting cast members, and so, I am puzzled by how he has not been accepted by other teams, and I know for sure it's about money. I mean, it's about...
Do you think it's more about money and not... How much do you think the politics of things are playing into that, too?
I think it's all about the politics, because the owners are all about... their brand, and they saw the thing about their brand is they want to be able to control the brand. The fact that you had one player change the entire perspective of the NFL from that one statement they did on the sideline, to me, that was probably the scariest thing for the owners, because they could not control it. Typically, they can control everything on the sideline, what you see, what you hear, how amazing the NFL is. this, but then all of a sudden you got one person that stands up for something, and suddenly everybody else is talking about that one issue. And so I think that scared the owners because they couldn't control it.
Well, what's funny about it, and it's just like what it is right now, we're talking about a backup quarterback here. He wasn't even a starting quarterback when he was doing the anthem protest and everything like that. So, he's making waves as a guy who's not even taking the field. He was playing backup, at least until the very end of the season when he started to get back healthy again. So, it's funny how much noise a backup quarterback can actually make, being that he's not even on the field. Imagine if he was actually the number one quarterback and having all these issues. a lot of spewing hatred.
A lot of hatred, but also they said that I liked the comment earlier that just said that Kaepernick can do everything that Russell can, but taller.
I would say to a point. He's taller for sure. He's probably a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But I don't believe he's as accurate as Russell, and I don't think he can read. The thing, a lot of the other things is the decision making, not the physical part, but the mental part. He can't read and dissect defenses like Russell can.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that humility is a big piece of that, because Russell Wilson, he plays pretty humble, because when he knows he can't thread the needle, he's not going to do it.
Right.
And so he'll throw it out of bounds. He'll run it out of bounds. Cap, he's gonna try to throw it in there because he feels like I can do this, right? But then he throws an interception. So I think he's got, because of his lack of accuracy, he just kind of tries to force it in there, and that's why it goes high a lot. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Russell Wilson is way better of a quarterback because of that accuracy.
But I guess then we go back to, well, if not Kaepernick, who else? Obviously, there's a lot of other options out there, but I think it can be argued that there's a lot of other quarterbacks out there who are playing number one position or are backups to other teams who are way less skilled and experienced than Kaepernick, and Kaepernick should be on somebody's roster, not even necessarily the Seahawks, but it's not because of his skill set that's keeping him off the field. It's the things we talked about, the politics.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I just saw somebody said there that be prepared for Seahawks to be hated more if we sign Cap. And I say bring it, because we play better when we're hated.
Yeah, that's true. The question is, what will it do to our own fan base? Because I know the majority of them are going to have a gut reaction, which is, I saw one person on Facebook today just say, if they sign Kaepernick, I'm no longer a fan of this team. And I think that's pretty extreme, and they're probably just gut reaction right now. And of course, if it actually happened, they'd probably calm down and come right back to it. But, there would definitely be a bit of a backlash. I don't think to a point where people are going to start giving up their season tickets or not going to the games and having an empty stadium.
Yeah.
But there'll be an initial, not happy reaction, not a social media backlash. But, the bottom line is, let's say we just go with what we have. Is there somebody on the practice squad, and Jake Heaps or one of these other undrafted guys that we picked up, or is Trevone Boykin? If push came to shove and you're in the fourth quarter and Russell gets injured, who would you rather have ready to go? Would you rather have Trevone Boykin, or would you rather have Colin Kaepernick to have to drive the team down the field for a game-winning score?
I think.
Who would you rather have? I think you kind of already answered that question.
For me, I think right now, just based off of what I've seen, I prefer Boykin. And the reason why is because I've seen some success during the preseason. He can run the offense. He can step in. But Cap is, he's the wild card. If he shows me in the offseason that he's training hard, he's developed his arm, and it's more accurate, and he steps out there during the preseason, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a coin flip, because you still got Boykin, who's hasn't proven himself. Kaepernick proved himself, but where is he at mentally? Because I think it's a mental game, and he showed that he is mentally weak at times.
Right.
So during this, deep reflection time, I'm hoping that he strengthened his own confidence in himself, and that maybe that could be the balance. Is that he showed that he can be confident in his politics, in his stance. Let's see if that transfers over into confidence in his arm.
All right. Well, and the other part too is the biggest part of this equation is he willing to play as a backup? Because he might still want to be a starter. Obviously the signs have shown that nobody really wants to take him as a starting quarterback, but that doesn't mean he has to accept a backup role. He could just not take anything and wait till somebody goes down and get picked up, as a just sort of free agent somewhere down the line. But I think that's the other part of the equation he has to decide is, does he want to play? Does he want to become a backup with and not try to stay in there as a starting quarterback position.
Yeah.
So, but physically, I think it's pretty clear. I was watching some highlights of him from before. Man, he scared us. Remember? I mean, that NFC Championship game in 2013, 2014. I mean, he was like, you just did not want that guy to get outside the pocket because he could just run like a gazelle.
He ran all over us.
And
that's why
everybody.
he was so scary.
Yeah. Throw the ball and he would hit people. It wasn't like he was a horrible passer. It's odd how I guess when you start to change the dynamics and the balance of run pass, he's just, when he has to do it all entirely by his arm, defenses start to figure out and kind of know where to pressure him so that he can't figure it out when they take away one of his tools. But yeah, I guess that's really the big debate. Now they did mention, actually before I get to that, what's interesting is watching the demeanor of Kaepernick. I think part of the other reason why it was so easy to hate the guy is, remember when he was still under Harbaugh? Remember his press conferences? The dude was so obnoxiously, he wouldn't talk. Remember?
Yeah.
They'd ask him, he'd be on monitor. Yeah, I just couldn't throw the ball or whatever. He just had those one-word monotone answers, and it was like he was sort of getting his taking a page out of Harbaugh, because he'd have crappy press conferences too, remember? Harbaugh wouldn't like to talk to the media. But then
he's not a media guy.
He's not, but then did you see him last year when he was asked about his cause? He was all articulate, he was animated. Why are you doing this? What's your protest? Oh, he was all like a whole different person. He grew out his afro and all of a sudden he's a whole different guy, he talked, he was spirited, his eyes were sparkling and couldn't say enough about why he was doing it. So clearly it's not like he's just that way all the time, because he switched to gear and changed his demeanor in the press conferences. And I don't know if that's because Harbaugh was now gone and he was a different, guy underneath him, or he just changed because maybe he felt he needed to change. Maybe that was an internal decision. But that was a lot of the reason why it was so easy to hate the guy, because he was so arrogant, one, and then two, the way he carried himself, is like he just was too good to talk to anybody or whatever, So it certainly didn't make him any more likable than anybody, because he was so easy to hate as a rival. But then the way he carried himself was just also pretty annoying as well. But that seems to have all changed now, at least maybe because he has been humbled from all this stuff. But part of that discussion, I think, where it came from an interview with KJR, they asked him, basically I think where this all came from is they asked Mitch in the Morning asked Coach Carroll, would you consider taking Colin Kaepernick or RG3 as a backup? And he didn't say yes. He just says, well, we're looking at everybody, including those guys. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, big
accident over there. Holy cow. He was probably YouTube streaming live when that happened.
He was probably watching you. I think he was probably watching you.
Anyway, pretty soon there's going to be a law against this, if there already isn't. Anyway, so, but yeah, RG3, I mean, if you ask me between the two, it's not even a debate. RG3 is like, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. What do you think about RG3?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just injury prone. I mean, I think the thing about Kaepernick is he's proven he can take hits. He gets back up. He's pretty disciplined in that sense, and that he doesn't let hits phase him or injuries phase him. But yeah, RG3's pretty soft when it comes to his body. And
I think the problem with him too is that he not only is he injury prone, but he plays in a way that gets him injured. He doesn't know how to slide. He doesn't know how to avoid contact, but he lets these things kind of come to him and make not smart decisions with his body that puts him at risk. That's one of the things Russell has always been really good at. He doesn't take unnecessary hits and gets down when he has to get down.
Well, their body types are different. I mean, because it's like they're the kind of the tall, lanky that toothpicks break. But I mean, Russell Wilson is more stocky, and he kind of plays low to the ground when he's running. So he protects himself definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I think RG3 is without question not one to really enter into the conversation. But I guess we'll find out. We OTAs start next month? We have OTAs. I think it's next month. I would imagine they will try to have this quarterback, the backup quarterback decision, somewhat close to being decided by then. So I guess we have about another month to entertain this Kaepernick debate. But it's a slow NFL news day when you're when your headlines are talking about your backup quarterbacks.
Pretty much.
But other than that, there's I guess the other news is we had the rookie training camp last week, and a lot of the rookies were apparently looking pretty
Breaking
good.
news says Seahawks just signed Chad Henne. Gotta check that. I'm not sure if that happened.
I don't know if somebody's just trying to get a reaction here of us for real. But
Chad Henne. Yeah, there we
go. Eddie Lacy.
Oh,
Hit
yeah.
that weight goal, man. Eddie Lacy yesterday weighed in. He had to hit under 255 in order to get the first of the bonuses that he would get for losing weight. He hit 253, got it by two pounds. He got a little $55,000 spending money as a result. There's one.
There was X-Lax in his locker. That's what
He probably spent the whole day before in a sauna and wrapped up in a sweatsuit, spitting in a cup all day long.
He was dehydrated, but
I'm sure he was. He probably could barely stand up because he was so lightheaded from not eating or drinking anything for 48 hours.
Yeah.
But that's a good start, though. I mean, I like the Eddie Lacy move. Did you like it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's always nice to have a big back that can.
Shout out to Chicago 12s, by the way.
There you go. You gotta get those, those 2-yard first downs or touchdowns on the 3, 4, 5. I think he can definitely do that. It's just whether or not he's got that small gap with our line. So he just needs a little space, and he'll muscle through the rest.
What do you think of what we got in the draft and how our offensive line is looking?
I think, I'm glad. You never know who they're gonna pick, right? Because no one can pick the minds of those guys. But I was pretty satisfied with what they did with the center and being able to, move those folks. They're very different puzzle pieces, right? They can move them around, whether it's left tackle, right tackle. So they always get talent that they can move based off of just their pure athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like any one of those guys are going to be one specific position. So I think that's an advantage, but because we don't necessarily have the big left tackle that's going to be prominent for the next 10 years. I think we gotta see who's doing well and can they do their job for those 3 seconds that Russell Wilson's gonna need. So I don't know. We got to see if these guys gel or not.
Well, I think my vibe on the line is that they can't be any worse than last year.
No.
And this year at least they did make moves, some veteran moves to move them in there. And they didn't sign any defensive players, any basketball players. They actually brought in guys who played their position for a change, So you got Luke Joeckel from the Jaguars, who's most likely going to play on the left side, either left guard or left tackle. I'm guessing guard, which means they'll probably keep Fant out there, which I know he wasn't exactly a big, success last year, but he'll be better. So Joeckel, I think maybe eventually he might move to left tackle, but he'll be on the left side. So the two of them will be on the left side, which means Britt will stay at center. That means on the right guard, probably Ifedi, unless they move Ifedi to right tackle. But then this other guy they picked up, what's his name?
Something. We know the Seahawks like the back of our hands. We can spell their names.
Posis or whatever his name is. Anyway, he would be playing probably, if not right tackle, right guard. But it's kind of the same thing. They might switch him around, which means Glowinski, I don't know where he's going to end up at. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be an improvement. It may not be the best line we've ever had, but we were 25th rushing last year. And I feel like this year we're going to be at least winning the top 15, the top half of the league. We do that, and already we're doubling our productivity from last year. And so I think that's just gonna, make it our running game. And we just had such bad luck with injuries to our running backs and everything. It couldn't be any worse. Like I said, Russell got hurt first game. We didn't have Rawls. Pro-Size played 2 games. I mean, Christian Michael, who doesn't even have a job, was our leading rusher. That's not going to happen.
I think Pro-Size is a game changer for us because look what he did with New England as a receiver, as a running back. Running that side.
He's awesome.
He's. I think we're gonna be impressed with what he's gonna contribute this year if he can stay the whole season.
All right. Well, we got to go. We're here to our destination. Volleyball to play, baby. Anyway, but guys, keep the debate going. Put in your comments what what do you think about the whole Kaepernick as backup quarterback? And let's see what you guys think. I think I know what you're gonna say, but let's hear it. Keep it going in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you guys soon. Got a post-draft video coming up here that I'm gonna be doing soon, just to kind of break down how the rookies are looking for this upcoming season. And we'll talk to you guys later. This is Ben. NorbCam. Go Hawks.
Take care.